Hi everyone, this is Maria Van Vuklis from the Think Tank podcast. Welcome to another episode. I have the lovely Tara Mollel, who I'll be interviewing today, and we'll be talking about how to create a roadmap for business strategy. First of all, I just want to introduce Tara. Tara Mollel is the founder and owner of Business Mastery Tribe. She's passionate about human behaviour and is a human behaviour specialist, business and leadership coach, and a world-class leader. Tara works with overwhelmed, stressed out, time poor, and frustrated business owners who want to quickly grow their business and profits by developing agile business design so they can expand their impact, leave their legacy while doing what they love most. Thanks, Tara. Thanks for joining me today.
Oh, I'm so honoured to be here. Thank you.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about yourself if I haven't already covered it.
Yeah, so look, I have been in business for well over a decade, various businesses behind me, and I think each business that I've had has led me to the next thing. So where I'm at now, and Business Mastery Tribe, the way it stands now, is still quite new. It's sort of just formed in February of this year, right before a pandemic. That's always good timing. But then my first business started during the global financial crisis and did really well. So, you know, I don't really see it as too much of a challenge or a obstacle. But yeah, everything that I've done in the past has led me here and has brought Business Mastery Tribe, I guess, to fruition. So it's very exciting.
Wow. And you having grown a business in, your first business and now both in economic challenges, I can see why you're so big on knowing how to create an agile business and knowing how to survive these different times. So I'm excited to hear a lot more about how you actually do that. So tell me, why is having a strategy in business imperative, and what are some important components of this?
Oh my goodness. So my first business, I was 22 and I had just come out of uni, and I'd spent the last 4 years doing a dance education degree. So I came out, I'm a high school dance and drama teacher, ready to, change the world. And no one would hire me. I was like, awesome. This is a really great start. So I came to the conclusion I need to hire myself. That's pretty much how my first business started. I had trained as a dance and drama teacher, and I just decided to start a business. I had zero clue about anything, right? Like, I was good at teaching dance, so solid on that, solid on my service, but anything else I had no idea. And it was almost as soon as I had this thought of, I'll start a business and hire myself, the next step, and it really like hit me in the face, and I'm sure many business owners can relate to this, but it's like it hits you in the face of how much you don't know, right? You like instantly become aware of, oh, I had no idea this was involved. I didn't know about this. I didn't know about that. So it's fair to say I didn't have a strategy. I didn't even know, what a strategy was in business. I had no idea. I could choreograph to, the latest hits on the top 40 chart, but really not much else. So look, I managed to stumble and fumble my way through, and it kind of worked, but there was a lot of behind the scenes, like manic hustle. If I was a duck swimming on the water, you'd see me gliding on the top half, but underneath, my feet going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So there was a huge, big learning curve, because not only did I not have any business background or knowledge, but I had zero strategies in place. But then I also had the time. I didn't realize it back then because it was just me, single, and I lived at home with my parents. I had the time to spend learning and failing and then reiterating, whereas now, especially with a lot of my clientele, women, mothers, we have so many other things to do, so many other obligations as well, that our business is kind of one part. Whereas back then for me, my business was my entire life. And that was a huge, big mistake to make it my sole focus. So I think to have now, and it's something that I insist on, a structure isn't this immovable, fixed plan. No, it's very different. But having a structure, especially when the rest of life goes crazy and manic and a random pandemic comes up, you know, a business structure kind of gives you that focus and helps you keep having that forward momentum almost regardless of what's happening in the external environment. So I tell people it really brings that peace of mind. It helps give you that clarity, and it helps you to realign and refocus on what is the next steps, what is your next action plan. So it's hugely important, if for nothing else, your peace of mind during the craziness of life.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add to that, I've seen people that are really great, what they call technicians. And like you said, they have no clue in terms of the business operations and how to make a business successful. So that's really common. And having that strategy, because like as women or even men as well, I think everyone wears so many different hats. So, you know, what you've just said definitely is, you know, imperative, I think, for any person in any business. So, okay. So how does one adapt their strategy in an ever-changing business environment? Because now we're in a pandemic, before we were in a recession and this and that, who knows what might happen next. So how does one actually have a strategy that can really adapt in these different times, no matter what environment they might be in?
Yeah, excellent. And such a good question as well. Businesses always need to come, I mean, it's easy to get off track. And by off track, I mean, it's really easy to get caught up in doing the do, right? So we're busy doing our business, right? And your head is down and you're focused on the goal, or you're focused in on the minute details, which is hugely important, absolutely. But we can get stuck down there. And it's like that head down, bum up situation, and you're working and you're working, you're pushing and you're working really hard. And that's great. But there are those times where it's so easy to just like get off course, just a little bit. And over time you suddenly realize, oh, wow, I'm way out of left field. And I've completely lost sight of the bigger picture, or the bigger strategy and structure and direction of where I actually wanted to go. So on one hand, we've got to, as business leaders, I'm going to say it, so business owners, I think, is one sort of headspace and mindset, but then to step up to be a business leader takes a totally different mindset. And to step up to be a business leader is having the ability, the cognitive ability to sort of go in to that strong focus, that smaller detail, and planning and all of the rest of it, but then also to take that step back and broaden your focus and perspective to go, okay, is this still all in alignment with our original intention? So then how do we do that? It is all about, and I really do take a lot of my lessons from Simon Sinek. So if you haven't seen that YouTube clip, do it. Start with why. It's amazing. And I've read all of his books, but it really is coming back to what is your why. So your why, or your purpose, that has to be at the core of everything that you do in your business. If what you are doing, even down to the daily grinder stuff, if it's not aligned with your why, if it's not connected with your why, then you're already off track. Then there's no point. It becomes just an energy and time suck, which as business owners and business leaders, we can't afford that. We can't afford to waste our time and energy on anything that isn't completely 100% relevant. So I always say you've got to come back to your why. So as you said, during, you know, trends change all the time, fads and fashions, pandemics come in, recessions come in, stuff happens. And it's not wishing that it didn't happen or wishing that nothing changed, because that would be boring. It's about going, okay, here's a time and we're being shaken up. Okay, let's come back to our why. We really need to come back and center on the why. Focus on our why. And by the way, that's where your brand lives. That's like the core of your business brand lives in the why, right? Come back to that. Then you can recenter yourself, and then you can refocus on, okay, what is the new area? What is the new strategy? How do we change this? And where do we as a company, staying true, staying authentic to our why, to our brand, to our people, that's going to help direct you on where you need to go next. Yeah.
Yeah, some great key takeaway points in there. And I think to add, in terms of the company having the why, but also the leaders within each of those having their own individual why, and then having that aligned and congruent for business to constantly adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
And because you're, and when I say yours, I mean the business owner or business leader. I mean, I work with a lot of small businesses. So their why and their business's why are not two separate things. They're not. They're one and the same. They're one and the same. It's just like when businesses or companies go, oh, here are our company values, but then here are my personal values. You go, no, they really do need to be one and the same. They really do. Otherwise, if there's one why and then there's someone else's why, or there's one set of values and someone else's set of values, it's going to come into conflict. Absolutely. So it really does need to be that stronger alignment. So if your personal why as a business owner is not in alignment with how you're building your business and what you're building your business around, then of course it's always going to clash. Then you're actually going to really struggle to not only identify what sort of makes you as a business stand out, but you're going to struggle to identify and understand why your people are drawn to you. And in fact, you won't really have too many people drawn to you or wanting to stay as loyal and dedicated customers, because your why is too wishy-washy. People don't really understand what you as a business are all about. So I want to say to people that your why it's not like, okay, why are you in business? Oh, because I want to make money. That's not why. That's not your why. Your why is actually quite an intimate and personal connection. Your why should trigger an emotional response in you. Right? That's how you know you've landed on it. And there's a whole process behind it. It's not just this easy, I'm going to string some words together that sound good, which a lot of companies do. They go with what sounds good rather than what actually emotionally connects with them, and therefore emotionally connects with their people, whether it's their team or their clients. So your why has and elicits an emotional reaction. And it is wafty. It is this big aspirational why, but it really does help you align then all your action steps, your company values, your products, your services, your people. It aligns everything. And it really does make everything so much clearer, and decisions are easier, more easily made when it comes from the why, when the why is informing that. So it's just hugely important. And like I said, then you can build a structure around that, a structure that works around that. So it keeps you focused in the direction that you actually need to go as a company, as a business, regardless of, again, external circumstances.
So just on that, in terms of strengthening your why and key indicators of why, how would someone would be able to, what are some key indicators for someone to really identify if they're a little bit off track with that, to get back into alignment of what their business and themselves are in?
Really important. So it starts off with why, then as Simon Sinek talks about, the next circle out is then the how, right? So the how is asking, how do I bring this why to life? So how do I make it more tangible, more practical? And that's where values come in. And then the what is the physical aspects of what you do. It's the boots on the ground. So let me give you an example. Talking about it very theoretically. So my example is from my own business. So my why, and I can look back and see how this, I didn't know this in my first business. Like I said, I had no freaking clue what I was doing. It just happened to work out. But I can look back and realize that all the decisions that I made that really boosted my business and my company took us to the next level, and all the things that, you know, I failed at or were a disaster and didn't work out were because I was against my why. So I can look back and see how it all fits now. So my why is to empower others to fully embrace themselves and their strengths so they can confidently live their passion and fulfill their purpose. That's it. So everyone, so that, I mean, even as I say, I get goosebumps every single time I say it. Doesn't get old. Doesn't get old. It just fills me with fire every time, and it keeps me going. So then I look at the how. How do we do this? How do I bring that why, that lofty why, to life? Well, then I start breaking it down. So to me, you know, it starts off with I'm here to empower people. And for me, empowerment comes from education. So everything that I do, whether I'm speaking, whether it's my programs, whether it's a course, doesn't matter, free, paid, whatever it is, to empower someone is to give them the gift of education, of information, of knowledge, right? That idea of help me do it myself. So everything that I do, so how do I do it? It's through teaching, it's through education, it's through information, right? Then to help people embrace themselves, well, that's where the coaching part comes in, because we often don't realize that actually what sometimes we were told maybe as kids growing up was a weakness or a fault or a flaw of ours is actually our greatest superpower. See, most of us don't know really what our strengths are and how to harness and leverage our strengths even more to keep ourselves going, to avoid, you know, any sort of burnout or overwhelm. Right? We don't really understand ourselves and how to manage ourselves to really get our business up and going, to really start drawing people to us and the right people to us. So that's where the coaching comes in. So my how is education through coaching, right? And then I talk about confidence as well. You've got to be confident, taking ownership of you, of your stuff, of who you are. So there's a level of authenticity in there. And then the last part of how I do this is holding firm to the value of courage over comfort. Courage over comfort is such a strong part that fuels me, fuels anyone that comes into contact with Business Mastery Tribe. It's about courage over comfort. And we always check in with ourselves. Am I feeling a bit scared? Am I doing something that's a little bit unresourceful because I'm scared to go into this unknown? I'm scared to take this leap of faith, right? That it's always about taking the courage over the comfort side. So those are my hows. So anything that I do, any product or service I put out there, any talk or interview that I do, I'm doing it with these sort of values and these sort of motivations and intentions to bring that out. And then what? Then we come to the physical activity, boots on the ground. What do I do? Well, workshops and talks wherever I can, whenever I can. A lot of webinars nowadays and podcasts, right? I've got online courses. I've got a coaching program. I've got tools and templates. So there's a whole range of different products that I can bring out that are all in alignment with my how and my why, right? So one of the things, and there was an opportunity recently presented to me to join this sort of kind of like a marketing agency, digital marketing agency. And we all know marketing agencies have like this, we do it for you. And it was a great opportunity. It was a great company. And I was like, it's just not sitting right. There's just something, I know this is great. I mean, I want to help, I want to help small businesses during this time. what is that resistance? What is that resistance? And so I had to sit with that and mull over it. It was a really challenging time thinking, well, am I scared because it's unknown? Okay, no, it's not a whole, I'm choosing comfort over courage. No, it's not that. So I had to come back to my why. And that's when it hit me. I went, no, because to empower someone is not to do it for them. It's to help them do it themselves. So I realized that while this was a fantastic opportunity and it ticked some of the boxes, it did not align at all with my why. And I would have been miserable and it would have been a colossal mistake. So I could very clearly then come back to them and not only turn down their offer very respectfully, but I could articulate why I was turning down their offer. Even though it was a great opportunity, it does not align with my why, and it does not align with how I want to show up in the world. So this is actually just, it's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. It's not easy, but it is phenomenal. And it's going to help businesses really identify what is the best decision to make at any given moment. So I hope that articulated it well.
No, it's been, fantastic. And I think the listeners will definitely get something out of that. And also there's so many people that are so disconnected or haven't really put their finger on it completely. So when they go out and make those decisions and then they end up in situations where they're not completely fulfilled, it's really coming back to that foundation of what their values are and what their purpose is and so forth. So some great value in that specifically. So Tara, tell me, what is the missing piece of the puzzle for business owners in developing their business in your experience, since you've worked with so many people?
Oh my goodness. Look, and this is part of the challenge because there are so many, we've spoken about before, we're wearing so many hats, there's so many balls being juggled in the air when you're a business owner. You've got to do a bit of everything. So it's really important to know what are the missing pieces specifically for your individual business. So I've got a 9-step roadmap, a 9-step process. So the first thing that we do when someone comes into Business Mastery Tribe is we go through this diagnostic process, because so many businesses, and I hear it all the time, like I want to be clear, I am not a marketer. I do not know fonts or pretty colors that match. I cannot design anything. I use Canva and I still manage to fuck up their templates. Like I just... It's not my jam. I'm not very good at it. That's why I have a graphic designer. That's why I have an expert to do that. So I suck at that. But so many small business owners come to me and go, oh, I just need better marketing. Like I just need, more leads, more clients. And you go, all right. Like everyone thinks that that's what they need and that's going to solve their problems. I just need some Facebook ads. Boom.
Yeah.
And then it's done. And you go, all right, let's just chill. And once we go through this diagnostic problem, we actually start to find, okay, what are the specific gaps for your business? And then we start crafting this whole roadmap and this plan. It ends up being a 12-month plan of what you need to focus on and exactly when you need to focus on it to really grow your business in a sustainable way. Because here's the thing, there's one of my clients that we had just came on board at the start of the year, same thing. I just need more clients. And when we went through this diagnostic process, I was like, if we just, and we could easily generate more leads and get you more clients, but you would be going insane. Like you do not actually have the capacity to take on more clients. So your business would be done within a month, right? Because it's just not structured in a way for you to actually handle more clients. So let's look at the structure first, then let's lay some stronger foundations, then let's start generating leads to get in some clients. And then we even had a plan on knowing at which point, knowing the numbers, knowing the figures, at which point can you then take on more people? Can you then shift out of such a central role, step up to be the leader and start then scaling more that way? So how do we make it scalable and sustainable? So just getting more clients or just getting more leads is not correct, and it's actually can be really detrimental to a business. And again, I work with a lot of women. So one of the biggest things is pricing. Like, generally speaking, our first fix is around pricing, going, well, let's look at what you're doing. Again, if you get more clients at this price point, again, you're still going to be flat broke. Do you know what I mean? This is just, there's nothing profitable about this structure and setup at all. So that's why I say to businesses, whether they come into the tribe or they go engage with someone else, I don't care, that's fine. But I want businesses to understand, what are your missing pieces? Where do you need to focus your attention and when, so then you can grow sustainably without running yourself and your business completely into the ground and then just burning out at the end.
Love that. So instead of looking out at what other people are doing, look at yourself and what you're doing within your business, for you to find your own gaps.
Absolutely. I mean, comparisonitis. And I mean, thanks social media, right? Because we can scroll and look at how successful everyone is. This is why I'm not on Instagram, but how successful everyone else is. And we go, oh, I'm not there yet. Oh, I should be here, or I should be doing more of this, or I should be doing more of that. And you go, I mean, really, the options are endless. Do you want to write a book? Do you want to do more speaking? Do you want to do retreats? Do you want to do live courses? Do you want to do one-on-one? Do you want to do groups? The options are endless. But again, that's just focusing on what you're doing, right? So if we come back to those concentric circles, you've got to start with the why. Does it align with your why? Then can you do it in a way that aligns with the how you're going to bring your why to life? And then you look at what are those activities, what are those products, what are those services that you put out there that's going to align with that. Because really you could do anything, but anything isn't going to work.
That's right. Absolutely. Great. Amazing. So what are some key tips in getting a business moving forward today?
Right. So number one, get your why in alignment. And again, it's emotional. You got to connect emotionally. So what I say to people is just start with the basics. Like, why does your business exist? And write that down. Then ask yourself, why is that important? Write that down. But why is that important? Write it down. And just keep asking yourself, why? Like, you have to keep justifying your answer. And you're going to get to a point where you hit like a barrier and you go, oh, I don't know. And sit with that. Sit with that, because that's you on the cusp of really being able to answer it. Now, you're not going to be able to articulate it perfectly or soundly straight away, but you need to connect to that emotional feeling. If it starts bringing tears to your eyes, if your heart starts thumping in your chest, if you get goosebumps, whatever that is, then you know you're onto it. You know you're onto it. But I cannot emphasize it enough that you have to start with why. You absolutely have to. Then from there, I mean, you can also engage in, if you've got staff working with you, you can ask them, why do we exist? Why do we rock? Why are you even here? What drew you to this company? Then even ask some of your clients, some of your most loyal and trusted clients and followers. Say, why do you follow me? Why me as opposed to anyone else? You've really got to go out and start understanding that. That's really important. So that's number one, get back to your why. The number two is, everyone's talking about pivoting right now. Any and every business is there to serve, to be of service to their people, to their community. So go out again to your community and find out, what do they need? Solve a relevant problem that they have right now. So it could be tweaking a product or service that you already have. It could be creating something totally new. You've got to go and find out, what do your people in your community really need right now? How can you best serve? How can you best support? And honestly, I say to people, and all marketers and branding people are going to hate me for this, but honestly, forget the logo. Forget fancy colors. Yes, they are important, but in the here and now, serve your people. go out and serve your people. So those are the two things that I absolutely recommend. And I mean, we should be doing anyway, particularly right now. Reconnect to your why and reconnect to your community and the people you serve. Find out how you can keep serving them best.
Amazing. I love that. So practical and so yet so simple. And a lot of people are still missing out on not doing that.
Yeah. Getting caught up in like fancy automations and sales and marketing funnels. And look, what I say is, yes, that is important. Yes, but it can also be a form of procrastination. Like you can easily sit here and mull over, oh, what's the best email marketing message to put out there? And you're like, you know what? Either if you can't get out and physically see your people, pick up the phone and just start talking to people. Engage with them, send them a private message, send them a personalized email. How are you? What is up? Like, be in the mindset of service, even if you're a product business, but you're still there to alleviate someone's pain or challenge. So be in that mindset of service. It's huge. It goes so far.
Yeah, and I think also in today's day and age, we're getting further and further away from actually that physical connection and contact with people. So coming back to the basics of what you just said, like going out and messaging someone or picking up the phone, I think that's just something so profound and creates quicker results than sending an email out to someone. Yeah
so, hugely fantastic. My first business was started on or grew from the basis of cold calling.
Fun.
It was tough, but I did it. I just got on the phone and I called and I was just saying like, hey, what's up? Trying to find who is the person that I needed to talk to. What are you experiencing right now? Like, this is what I do. How do you see it fitting into your school? Like, I was just calling to chat to people, to build relationships, and to really, again, find out, well, what do you need right now? And that's how it started. And yes, it was painful and it was a little awkward. I get it. People don't like cold calling, but it made things happen so much quicker because people, even if they didn't accept my offer first time round, doesn't matter. I still call them again. Oh, hey, how's the birthday party on the weekend? Or, how's your kids going at this, that, and the other? And we just end up having a great chat. And it may have been like, 12 months later, then I'm the first person they think of. And there's no sales conversation. They're like, we're best buds. So of course I get Tara and her company in. Like, there's literally no one else. So it's huge. It's those relationships. You don't need many, but they do need to be strong.
Absolutely. So what is a key resource that you can actually offer the listeners to give them some great framework in creating, a business strategy or a roadmap for their business?
Yes. So one of my first things that I have, and it's a great way for you to sort of see your own business and make a little judgment of where you are at and where you need to focus. I've got a checklist. So the business roadmap checklist, and it's businessmasterytribe.com/checklist. And you can just download it there, really simple. And it just asks you a few questions and you sort of rate yourself and your business. And it gives you a really clear picture of, okay, there's some gaps, here's where the gaps are. So here's actually where I need to focus. So it's a really great little assessment from there. And then of course, if you want to talk about it more, just get on the phone and we'll chat about it. Like I said, I'm more interested in helping businesses get the right help for where they're at right now, rather than going, yes, marketing or, or whatever, I want to connect you with the right people for what you need.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much for today's chat. It's been really insightful and I trust all the listeners got some great piece of value out of that. My name's Maria Van Vuklis from The Conscious CEO. Thanks for tuning in to the Think Tank podcast. Till next time. Bye for now.